Welcome to this week's market update for coastal Orange County. If you're looking to buy a house here or looking to sell a house here, I'm gonna go over quickly what the market means for you, where the opportunities are, and essentially some key data points all buyers and sellers should look at when looking at coastal Orange County. So let's go ahead and dive right into it. In Newport Beach, the average price of a house is $5,872,500. The average price per square foot is $1,800 with an average days of market on 165 days. So things are sitting a little bit longer. The average rent price is currently $13,500 a month, and you still have a slight seller's advantage on the market index. So sellers, what does this mean for you? Well, you're in a slightly favorable market. Even though homes are sitting longer, the demand is outpacing the inventory, so homes are selling steadily, just not as aggressive. So a price appreciation might occur if inventory continues to decline and if rates continue to drop. Buyers, what does this mean for you though? Well, be prepared for some competition, but this is not a red hot seller's market, so there's definitely room to negotiate, especially in homes sitting longer. But if we were to look at condos in Newport Beach, the average price of a house or for a condo is $1,950,000 with an average price per square foot of $1,102 and an average days on market at 126. So even condos are still sitting, and an average rent price of $36.99, so just shy of $4,000 a month. You still have a slight seller's advantage even in the condo market. So essentially, even though the home prices have not surged yet, market conditions still favor sellers slightly just because we do not have the inventory to keep up with the demand. Buyers, again, even though inventory is still tight, you still have some options to be able to negotiate even on condos that have been sitting longer on the market. If we were to look at Newport Coast, the average price of a house is $17 million with an average price per square foot of $23.32 and an average days on market at 197. So homes are sitting on the market for about 200 days on average. The average rent price is $11,250, which is very interesting. Now, keep in mind that Newport Coast, there's some communities that have prices between $9,000 and $10,000, of course, so keeping that in mind. However, Newport Coast, there's obviously some rental prices that range anywhere from $15,000, $20,000 to $30,000+ a month, something to definitely note. Nonetheless, you still have a slight seller's advantage, even though that we're in a cooler zone. Inventory still remains low, and the buyer activity is definitely building up, especially as we get into the hot part of the market. Buyers, even though you still have a lot of negotiation room as inventory essentially climbs or demand further weakens, obviously there's going to be some new opportunities to purchase at reduced prices. For buyers in Newport Coast, you might see even more negotiation room, especially as inventory climbs or demand weakens further. Opportunities to purchase at reduced prices could definitely emerge, so be patient and watch the index closely, as there's definitely some opportunities to be had. But for condos, you have an average price of $2,474,000 with an average price per square foot at $1,221 and an average days on market at 122 days. So even though it's a little bit less, homes are still sitting a little bit longer, or condos in this case are still sitting on the market for over 100 days. The average price for rent is about $1,415, which is just shy of $4,500 a month, but you still have a slight seller's advantage even in the condo market because inventory is extremely low. You only have 8 units currently for sale, currently giving sellers the upper hand in negotiation. But buyers, despite the seller's edge, obviously the market is not moving as aggressively as sellers want. So with no recent price increases and a decent time on the market, this could be a good time for you to step in before the market conditions shift again. For Corona Del Mar, the average price of a house is $7,499,999, so just shy of $7.5 million. You have an average price per square foot of $23.71 and an average of 125 days on the market, with an average price of rent at $16,500. So even in Corona Del Mar, you still have a slight seller's advantage. So the market is definitely gaining momentum in sellers' favor. However, inventory declining, demand is holding on. So if this trend continues, you can and expect to see more competitive offers and an upward price pressure, which is definitely interesting. So buyers, what does this mean for you in Corona del Mar? Well, expect tighter competition, less price flexibility from sellers, and with inventory falling and the market action index rising, acting sooner rather than later might be the key to avoiding price increases. But if we were to look at condos in Corona del Mar, the average price of a condo in CDM is $2.85 million, with an average price per square foot of $2,090 and an average of 90 days on the market. So the condos in CDM are sitting ever so slightly before 100 days on the market, something to keep note of. And the average price of the rental market is $8,738, so just shy of $9,000 a month. You still have a slight seller's advantage even in the condos, just because sellers are still in a solid position. Homes are constantly exceeding new inventory levels and essentially creating favorable conditions. While prices haven't steadily climbed to the way condo owners want it to, the setup is definitely ideal for gains if the demand holds. And for buyers, essentially, no, it is a seller's market. Supply is definitely tight with only 23 units for sale for condos in CDM, so prices haven't necessarily risen yet, but the momentum is definitely building. If you're looking for value, you might want to act quickly before the price increases actually take hold. When we look at Laguna Beach, the average price of a house is $5,395,000 with an average price per square foot of $2,093, but the average days on market is 225 days, definitely sitting a lot longer. The average rent price in Laguna is $10,000 a month, and even though homes are sitting a lot longer, you still have a slight seller's advantage just because the inventory is still so limited. And buyers, even though you have a pretty limited inventory market currently, obviously there's a lot of homes sitting on the market with no price increases, so definitely could be a good time for you to negotiate quite heavily. If we look at condos in Laguna Beach, the average price of a condo is $1,547,500 with an average price per square foot of $1,375 and an average days on the market at 107. The average price of rents in the condo market for Laguna is $34.95 a month, so just shy of $3,500 a month, and you still have a slight seller's advantage even in Laguna Beach condo market, just because inventory is so limited. You only have 18 current listings on the market, so that definitely helps sellers. But buyers, even though the inventory is tight, you obviously have a lot of pricing starting to build just because homes are, or even in this case, condos are sitting on the market longer. So negotiating an offer and a good price before rates continue to drop and inventory continues to drop as well might be a good time for you to get favorable terms and a good price. And last but not least, if we were to look at Huntington Beach, the average price of a house is $1,899,000 with an average price per square foot of $914, an average days on market at 94, and an average rent of $57.23 per month, so just shy of $6,000 a month. And you still have a strong seller's market nonetheless. So obviously days on market compared to some of the other single family homes within other areas is definitely a little bit less at only 94, but demand is definitely outpacing the supply. So still a great time for sellers to be able to list the property and get a great price, potentially even multiple offers, just because inventory is so limited. Now, buyers, because of the fact that it is a fast moving market, homes are likely to go quickly, so be prepared to act fast and submit a strong offer. Definitely a little bit less room to negotiate due to the strong seller conditions. If we were to look at Huntington Beach condos, the average price of a condo in HB is $940,000 with an average price per square foot of $705, an average days on market at 82, so significantly less. This is definitely the hottest market for condos out of everything we've looked at thus far, and the average rent price is $3165, so just shy of $3,200 a month, but you still have a slight seller's advantage. And so sellers, what this means for you is you're still in a prime position to sell with demand exceeding inventory, and buyers, what this means for you is that the condo market is extremely competitive. So if you're looking for value, there still might be options with longer days on the market, but definitely don't delay too long. If you're thinking about making a move, I would love to be able to help you, but give me a call at 949-405-4455 so that way we could connect and see if we're a good fit.